Modo was arrested yesterday, 3 other coordinators of NRM in Lango sub-region. And we are still trying to cope with these challenges. Of course, I'm receiving reports of activities going on about the possibility of tampering with the votes tomorrow. We are monitoring them very closely. I did, and I want to reiterate my call to our supporters throughout the country to maintain and exercise maximum vigilance, because ballot stuffing can be done at the polling station. Because that's where they can help. And as you've heard me say, this decree by Dr. Badru Chigundu, which is in direct contradiction of the law, that people must stand 100 meters away from the polling point, clearly it puts them out of sight of what is happening, must be ill-intended. And we reject it, and we have urged our people not to accept it. The law says people can stay, provided they keep a distance of 20 meters. I think it is 20 meters. So 20 meters is reasonable because it gives you clear view of what is happening. But 100 meters is to take you away. And I understand that his response, Dr. Badru Chigundu's response, has been, why should they stay? Let them go home. Who is Chigundu to advise people like that? If I want to stay, I want to stay. That's my choice. And who is Chigundu to say, go home? I'm surprised by that behavior by my friend Badru Chigundu. And he will take full responsibility for anything that goes wrong arising out of those decrees. We've talked about the telephones and the cameras. Again, he has no power, he has no authority to decree that there should be no cameras, no telephones at the polling station. Why not? You know, under the Electoral Commissions Act, I think it is Section 50, the Electoral Commission is given power to vary any part of the law except the Constitution. In the event of a matter that threatens the process of voting, and obviously the interpretation of this is that it should be something. For example, if the law was saying that elections would start at 7 and end at 4, if there was a riot or something like that, then the Electoral Commission could determine that the election at that particular point could start at 8 or 9 in order to handle that problem first. But they cannot vary it substantively. They cannot vary the law in substance. They can't. Otherwise, then they become the legislator. And nobody under our Constitution has power except Parliament to do that. Nobody. So, again, we have encouraged our supporters to feel free, exercise their rights, go with their phones and their cameras. Now, there has been a rumor circulating, allegedly coming from FDC, but I have not confirmed whether it is FDC official or people purporting to be FDC, saying that I am out of the race. This is not the first time it has happened. There was a rumor previously that I had met with Dr. Besigye in Masindi and handed over the leadership of the opposition to him, and I had bowed out of the race. Obviously, this is false, as you all know, and I dismiss it with contempt. I am in the race. I stood for a reason. We have a cause, and we are not about to abandon it. Yes, we've talked about the possibility of cooperation and coordination in a number of areas, but you know very well we tried to achieve a joint presidential candidate and we didn't succeed. So if we didn't succeed then, we have not even met. I don't see how that would happen. We are continuing with our preparations for tomorrow. We will be deploying our agents in every polling station in the country, with 28,000, almost 30,000 polling stations. We will work with whoever is friendly and willing to work with us to make sure that the vote is protected. We are taking measures to protect the vote, not only at the polling station level, but all the way up to the central tallying point. I have said many times that knowing the commissioners of the Electoral Commission, I believe, given the opportunity, they would act and behave objectively. And I want to urge them to do so. I know the pressures. I know very well the pressures that are brought against them. I know them very well. I think there is no one who knows these pressures than I do. And I would like to urge them to resist them and to encourage them to do so, because they will have served their own conscience, they will have served the people of Uganda. And that would be their contribution to the well-being of our society, to the stability of our politics that I have consistently talked about. Last night I was on CBS radio with Honorable Segona, essentially to tell our people, the listeners of CBS, why we are standing and what we pledge to do if the Ugandan, or when the Ugandan people tomorrow elect us into office. It is clear from the questions I've been receiving from respondents on radio talk shows, all of those of you, the media that have occasionally been with me on the campaign trail, you know, the people, okay, they're interested, I would say, in the message we have, but their main area of concern is vote protection. They believe they have the vote, they believe they are the majority, but they think that their decision would be hijacked or manipulated at some point. I would like to reiterate what I said last night on radio, what I've been saying at public rallies. Please, you voter, you Ugandan, go out and vote. Go out and vote, and I'm calling all of them, irrespective of which side they are on. It is your right, it is your choice. The people must know that the power is in their hands. The power to make a decision about the leadership of Uganda, about the direction this country takes. It doesn't belong to anyone else. And the only time they have to exercise it is tomorrow through the ballot paper. And the decision they are going to make, it's like a referendum, as I have said before, is whether Uganda remains the same or changes. That's the simple question they are going to answer. Do you want Uganda to remain as it is, or do you want it to change? That is the question tomorrow. And I would like our people to go out and vote. All this intimidation you see is intended to keep as many people away from the vote as possible. Like last time, remember 42% of our electorate, of our registered voters actually, did not vote. They didn't. 42% translated 5.6 million voters. And as we recollect, President Museveni got 5-1 with 5.4 million voters. So there are more people who abstained from the vote than voted for the president. And that translated 39% of the registered voters in Uganda as the support he got in order to win, 39%. And I don't think it is going to be different now. So their greatest worry is that if these guys come and vote, and he has not increased his support, and on the contrary, in fact, he has lost some, one vote he has lost. And in case you want to know how I will vote tomorrow, I'm happy to tell you now. He doesn't have my vote tomorrow. That's the vote lost. Then, obviously, they have reason to worry. But I also urge him and urge his supporters to desist from. It's okay if they try to persuade people, but desist from resorting to unlawful means, to all sorts of methods that are contrary to the democratic principles that we all fought for. Okay, now, what will I do about those who have been arrested? Well, I've already been doing. I haven't waited. Our lawyers are trying to have them released. Obviously, this is political action by the government that feels threatened by the popularity of our TDA Uganda go forward. I don't know what they hope to achieve by arresting them, because in the past, arrests of opponents have not helped the government. And of course, I don't expect that it will this time. But anyway, we are doing whatever we can within the law to have them released. The European Union observer team came to meet me. I am also going to meet the Africa at long last. The African observer team led by President Obasanjo will be coming. I'm happy to receive all of them and give them my own assessment of what has been going on. That's what I did with the European team. Yeah, you're asking, what will I do if Museveni loses and he refuses to hand over power? First of all, I wouldn't expect him to do that. President Museveni has stated many credentials in the past as to why he's a Democrat. a Democrat does not lose an election and cling on to power. If he does, then it will be something else. You know, what will he do? Because according to our constitutional arrangements, the election is tomorrow. He remains in power for 3 months, 90 days. So he'll hand over power in May. So are you saying that when it comes to May 12th, we go to Korora and he doesn't show up, or what happens?
Actually, the Constitution does not require a handover of power.
No.
It requires a swearing in of the new president.
Yes. So that wouldn't happen. But I've said before that if someone wants to act against the Constitution, that's a totally different matter. Don't link it with the election, with the democratic process, because that would be a different thing altogether, and we would react to it differently, because we are now talking about a democratic process. If I lose tomorrow, I'll be in Kanungu. That's where I'm going to vote from. I will stay there and cry with my people for maybe a day, then come back here and cry with you, and anyone who is ready to commiserate with me. And I will express my gratitude to the people of Uganda for having put trust in me to the extent they did, and that is it. Because if the outcome is a true expression of our people's wishes, I will respect them, of course. I will respect them. If results are not a true expression of the people's wish, and actually are a result of manipulation or rigging, of course I will not accept them. Definitely not.